India is getting fat. From times where India used to see famines every few years, right now, India's obesity and overweight burden is the second highest in the whole world. Around 18 crore people in our country, out of the 140 crore population, are overweight and obese. And this is an understatement, underreported data. And China is definitely the largest. Now, India currently sees a health paradox. On one side, malnutrition and anemia levels in Indian population is very high. But on the other hand, obesity and overweight related problems in India is again very, very high. So there is a health paradox which India foresees currently also and in the future as well. Now, talking about this particular issue, our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that obesity is one of the root cause of major diseases amongst Indians and has urged Indians to adopt a healthy lifestyle and reduce oil consumption in the country in order to ensure better health outcomes.
Obesity की मोटापे की समस्या तेजी से बढ़ रही है.
Now, he referenced projections from the Lancet study, which says that around 44 crore people in our country can be obese and overweight by the year 2050, which is a very humongous number. And we will be surpassing China in this as well to become the largest country in the world with the heaviest burden of obese and overweight people. Now, this in itself is a paradox, because on one hand, India is suffering with the hunger problem. On Global Hunger Index, we are performing very poorly. But on the other hand, burden of obesity and overweight in our country is increasing year by year. Now let me ask you one simple question, that if you have to go out to buy groceries today, would you go out while walking or would you go out by taking a scooty or a bike or a car? Definitely in metropolitan areas, your answer would be a car or a bike or a scooty. The level of physical activity has decreased considerably in the last 20-30 years. In the last 10 years, we have actually tripled the number of obesity patients or obesity people in our country. And obesity in our country is no longer a normal lifestyle, but it is a health epidemic.
India's obesity crisis.
Obesity as a global epidemic.
And obesity is only getting bigger. In less than 2 decades, more than half of the world's adult population and a third of children and teenagers will suffer from it.
In India, around 12% in male and 40% females are abdominally obese, which is a very stark data which shows that in cases of women, obesity strikes much higher. But yes, then the logical question is why? And after this, the logical question is how to solve this problem and how to solve this health crisis which is there in the country and in the world as well. So in today's session, we'll be trying to understand the obesity burden on India and the world. Hello, my name is Preetpal Singh and you're watching Perspective. Now let's talk about the issue first of all. The issue is about obesity. So first, let's understand who is obese person or what is obesity. Now, obesity is commonly measured using body mass index, that is BMI in the world, which is a ratio of person's weight to person's height squared. Now, BMI of more than 30, body mass index of more than 30 categorizes a person into obese category, and a BMI of 25 to 30 category makes a person overweight. Now, this is according to the BMI. Now, let's talk about some data. Now, according to a recent study published by the Lancet, around a majority of the population of the world and one-third of the children in the world would be obese or overweight by the year 2050. They're talking about the whole world. And majority of the population of the world and one-third of the children of the world would be obese and overweight by the year 2050. And if we talk about the year 2021, around 211 crore people were obese by the year 2021. Now the number has considerably increased, of course, in the last 4 years. And it marks around 45 to 50% of the global population. And we see in relation to the countries, China is having the highest number of obese people, which is around 40 crores. India ranks second with around 18 crores. US ranks third around 17.2 crores. Then it is Brazil by 8.8 crores. Then it is Russia 7.1 crores and so on. So half of the world's overweight population is from the 8 major countries, some of the countries which we just saw. Now the situation becomes even more worrisome and gruesome when we talk about obesity and overweight problems in children. Because children are usually at a stage where their bodies are developing. And if children develops these kind of health problems, the chronic illness amongst children for their lifetime, it's its incidence or its instance can go up in a very rapid term. Now, several studies indicate that childhood and adolescent obesity in our country has increased by 244% in the last 30 years, and they are projected to rise by 121% more in the next 30 years as well. But now, coming to the main question, why? Why such huge number of population is becoming obese? And the answer to this, I don't need to tell you. You all know the answer very well. It is sedentary lifestyle. Now, these days, the lifestyle of individuals, whether it be a child, whether it be an adult, whether it be adolescent or an elderly person, the lifestyle of people today has become sedentary. That means the amount of physical work which we do compared to what our parents used to do when they were of our age, there is a considerable stark difference. Today, in whole day, there is very less amount of physical work we do. But the calories which we intake, they are more. So there are two things. One is our physical work, and second is the food which we intake, the calories which we intake. When we talk about the physical work, the first part, the physical work done today is considerably less. All the applications, all the technology which we see around, in a way, is making us lazy. Whether it be transport, whether it be, let's say, Zomato, Swiggy, or any of the delivery apps, or whether it be cabs, or whether it be anything, they are making people lazy. Now, it's not that these apps should not be there. Definitely, they help in ease of transaction and better standard of living. But they decrease the level of physical activity, which was there 20 years back, 15 years back, and even 10 years back as well. Today, you can see all the children, they are stuck in mobile phones. How many of the children, they go out? Very less number of students. So there is a stark irony as well, that 20 years back, it was the parents who had to stop their children from going out because children had no choice but to go out and play with their friends. And today it's a time where parents have to push their children that please go out and play, rather than just sitting at home, idle, playing, sitting in front of the screen and playing on your mobile phones or TV screens or computer screens. So this is related to sedentary lifestyle. And we talk about adults as well. How many of the adults today do physical activity? Very less. Yes, physical activity culture is promoted through gyms and through different workouts in our country, in the world as well. But the number of people actually following it are very, very less. And also, if you don't do any physical activity throughout the day and you just go to gym for an hour, that won't make a considerable difference to your health outcomes. Overall, in the whole day, your physical activity should be prominent. So that is the first thing. That is the first reason in relation to physical activity. The second is in relation to the calorie intake. Now just figure out the calories which we are taking today compared to the calories which people were taking 20 years back, 25 years back. We call it as McDonaldization of the culture, of the society. Today, the calories which we consume, it's very, very high on sugar. It's very high on fats. It's very high on carbs. And when we get a glucose spike, when we get a sugar spike all of a sudden, it leads to a lot of addiction overall. And individuals, they get addicted to this type of lifestyle, where they want sugary products, where they want smoothies, where they want shakes, where they want milkshakes, which are full of sugar, where they want coffees, where they want all sort of things full of fat, full of carbs, full of sugar, rather than a healthy, balanced diet. How many of the students or how many of the children today, they like eating salads? Or how many of the adults today, they like or prefer eating salads? The number of the people are very less, considerably very less. And which is why, rather than having a balanced diet, we are having an imbalanced diet, which is very heavily promoted towards these fast foods. So just you can imagine through the prevalence of the fast food joints around you, 20 years back, the number of fast food joints you can see, and the number of fast food joints today. Every nook and corner of the country, we can see Momo's shop. We can see spring rolls. We can see different other fast food items which are not just unhealthy, but very, very dangerous to human health if consumed regularly. So multinational food and beverage corporations, they have earned a lot of profit by selling these stuff to you. These stuffs are very tasty. They look very delicious, but overall, they impact our health in a very negative way. We don't realize the outcomes right now, but in the later stages of the life, you will see the outcomes, not just on an individual self, on micro level, definitely there will be bad outcomes, but on a macro level, for the whole society, for the whole country, for the whole nation, and for the whole world, the outcomes would be worse. Now, you might ask a question that how is it bad? Now, it is bad in a way. First of all, it's making you obese. It is making you overweight. Second of all, it is increasing the risk of a lot of health diseases amongst the individuals, especially type 2 diabetes, heart ailments, and certain type of cancers as well. The proximity of an individual to these diseases goes up if a person is obese or if a person is overweight. Also, it can lead to a lot of chronic illnesses which can go on for a long period of time. And aging patients with obesity, they incur a lot of more surgeries and incur higher treatment costs as compared to the people who are not obese. And it's not in no way I'm saying that a person who's not obese is totally healthy. Healthy individual is an individual having balanced diet, having all the nutrients in a perfect quantity. That is a healthy individual. But an obese person is definitely not healthy. That is the statement which several reports, several studies have made. Also, as we all know, during the COVID-19 as well, we saw that obese person, they are more susceptible to these types of diseases if a person is overweight and obese. Also, alongside all these things, there are a lot of economic implications as well. So around in 2019, obesity costed India around $28.95 billion, which is around 1,800 rupees per capita, which is a very huge amount, which is around 1% of our GDP. Also, the Economic Survey of 2024-2025 have recognized obesity as a very important health challenge to our country and has also recommended charging more taxes on highly ultra-processed foods. But now the question is how to solve this problem, how obesity problem can be solved. The answer is very simple. Going back to the basics. Having that traditional diet, and in no way it doesn't mean that we don't have the modern processed food. Yes, we need to have the food, but food needs to be made in a proper way, cooked in a proper way, and the level of processing done in the food should be reduced, and the level of harmful ingredients used in the food products, that needs to be reduced. For example, palm oil. Now, palm oil used in our food products, in our processed food products, in our country, its percentage is very huge. So that needs to be reduced. The level of fats present, the level of salts present, the level of sugar present in the food products needs to be reduced. Plus, alternative sources of sugar and different other items or macronutrients needs to be promoted on the food products, and a traditional food system needs to be promoted overall. Doesn't mean that modern food systems should not be promoted, should be promoted, but in a healthy way. Also, a healthy balanced diet needs to be promoted, as well as physical activity. So physical activity should not just be a compulsion to the individuals, but it should be part of the culture, which is why our Honorable Prime Minister keeps on repeating through different initiatives of India, like Fit India, Eat Right, and a lot of different initiatives taken by the Government of India in order to promote better healthcare outcomes in the country. All these things needs to be promoted. Also, alongside this, healthcare responses also needs to be strengthened. Investing in clinical management and treatment, that also needs to be there, of obesity and related conditions. Now, expanding obesity intervention research, that also needs to be promoted alongside advancing medical treatments in relation to obesity. So first, prevention needs to be there, and then cure also needs to be promoted in a better way, so that those who are suffering from this illness, from this problem, also can be cured. And above all these things, what needs to be promoted is awareness. Because if an individual is aware that the body which they are living in, if that body is unhealthy and the body is not performing well, and in future it would be a liability than being an asset, the person would definitely take a final call and would improve the lifestyle. Because end of the day, nothing matters of what governments do, what the societies do, what different organizations do. What matters is that what individuals do with their body. And which is why awareness, targeted awareness, needs to be promoted like we are doing right now. It needs to be promoted amongst the individuals to ensure that obesity and overweight as a challenge can be tackled by our country and by the world on a mission mode. So several government initiatives like Fit India Movement or Poshan Abhiyan, Poshan Mission, Poshan 2.0, and all these things needs to be synergized with the awareness campaigns of FSSAI or different other organizations to promote better and energized lifestyle of individuals in our country, and also to improve the overall health outcomes. If all these things are ensured, definitely we'll be able to reach towards a healthy country and eventually a healthy world. I hope this video could serve as a good awareness message to all of you. And I hope you gained a new perspective from the session. Do let me know what are your suggestions and comments in the comment section. I'll be very happy to read them. All the very best and have a beautiful day. Thank you.